pleasure for us to have you for this interview. I think you are a great band, and it's a real honor for me to speak with you tonight and to speak about you and your album and all other stuff. First question, how are you?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
How are you?
How are you?
Oh, we're
good.
Yeah, doing just fine. You know, it's I'm always happy when it's summer here in Sweden. It's like the 1 month a year I get to not freeze my ass off, so it's good.
And yeah, this is the 1 month a year or 2 month a year, I guess, that I melt my ass off. So it's, you know, I'm on the other side of the equation, but it's good.
Right. Tell us about your meeting and the creation of the band.
So we met back in 2019. I moved out to Los Angeles from Sweden to study music at a Musicians Institute, and Parker was attending at the same time. We kind of ran into each other there. We started talking about, you know, common influences, bands that we dig, and we shared a similar vision in terms of wanting to create a hard rock heavy metal band rooted in, you know, early 80s heavy metal kind of. And then, of course, we have our different influences as well, but we kind of took off from there. We ended up moving in together in Hollywood, and we started writing what would become some of the material for our debut EP. And yeah, we ended up moving out to Thousand Oaks after a while in Hollywood, and that's where we started putting everything together pretty much.
Okay, it's not complicated because one live in USA and you live in Sweden. It's not difficult to work together. You use internet on all the computer to write and to record song.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty constantly in communication, because even though we only need so much time to actually record the music and get all that stuff together, it is a constant thing where there's emails and there's all this stuff that comes up that we kind of both need our input. So we're both pretty there's a lot of frequent communication between us, even though we're, you know, thousands of miles away. But it is a little difficult. When Leo was out here initially, he was here on a student visa, and then the subsequent extension of that visa after. So he was able to be here for a while, but once that ran out, he didn't really have a way to stay here longer than the tourist visa, which is 90 days. So pretty much what we've been doing since fall 2021 is he'll be here for less than 90 days pretty much, and then we do everything that we get all of our stuff recorded, and you know, music videos, and you know, try to play a couple shows, and that's that.
Yeah, and I would say too, it's not all occurs being apart like that, because we're able to keep our business running pretty much 24/7 because of the time zones, right? So when Parker's up, I'm catching up on some rest and vice versa. So that is a good thing about it, at least.
Yeah, you know, even though our music is largely influenced by bands from, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago, you know, it's good us existing in 2023. I guess that's a benefit to that, is we have the internet and we can maintain the communication on different continents.
And you, Parker, you didn't think about moving to Sweden?
I mean, I did, but the thing is that it's getting me to move to Sweden is just as, if not more, difficult than getting Leo to move here in Los Angeles. So it wouldn't really like address much.
I mean, truth be told, the reason why Parker has not moved to Sweden is, if you look at his hair, about 7% of his hair is blonde, and that's just not enough.
Fair enough.
They won't accept me until I rest.
I guess to get a visa for Sweden, you have to be blonde. And blue eyes? Ah, no, you don't have blue eyes. Ah. But okay, so for now, it's only Leo who think about moving to America, so to Hollywood, Los Angeles.
Well, actually, I mean, we haven't quite decided on that thing yet, because our band will inevitably move kind of all around the globe, and a lot of our shows will be based in Europe, because that's like the hub of festivals. And then my girlfriend lives in Germany, so my current plans are actually to move to Germany, and you know, inevitably might look into an artist visa, so I can be out in the US for a longer period of time, so we can get more work done. But yeah, so we're still kind of working on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on the scope of what we want to do. If we need to do something out here where he needs to be here for longer than 90 days, we basically need to get him some kind of a visa. But you know, the good news is that if we're, you know, if you look at a year, you want to do half, you know, do a big tour in the US, do a big tour in Europe, you might be able to do both and not worry about it. So
first paperwork.
Yep.
Okay, can you present us your first album?
Phil was asking if you can just explain the first album, your first album. Explain how it was written, thinking, creating anyway.
I think, like I said, when me and Parker first met, we started writing a bunch of stuff, and not too far after we began writing together, we actually came across some of the ideas that would end up on the EP. So I think the EP is just a kind of a manifestation of us kind of doing all these different things, because we have so many influences, we have so many things we want to get out there, and we only have 5 tracks on it, right? So we did as much as we could within as little space as possible, pretty much. And the writing process itself is pretty much the same as the album. It's very fluid. We get together, we have some ideas, we put them together, it uniquely becomes Wings of Steel.
Yeah, I mean, I think with that to add, it was we spent, from the time we finished music school, which was pretty much June 2020. From that point, we spent like a year and a half out here in Thousand Oaks, just writing a lot of music and kind of developing our sound and experimenting with a lot of stuff, because it was all the whole shutdown thing. Everybody was stuck inside, so it was a good use of that time. But the EP was pretty much when we just decided, we had written a bunch of songs and we're like, okay, let's release something. So most of those were pretty much the most recent songs we had written, but I mean, a song like Storm Child, like we wrote that, at least the initial version of it was written all the way back in 2020, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, so that was kind of a reflective thing, and we wanted to put out just 5 songs, because we didn't want to, when you just get started, and it costs a lot of money to do a full album, but we also didn't want to just put out a single. We wanted to like have enough for it to be a release, for people to digest it, and like you can get a sense of what we're about, and kind of introduce us to the audience.
I have one more questions about your album. You have 2 kind of track. You have the track more heavy metal track, and you have track more hard rock, like Whitesnake or All Stuff. It's your choice to use these 2 kind of stuff, or for the next one you will make a 100% heavy metal stuff.
I think the thing that makes us who we are and what we do, and ultimately what is Wings of Steel, is the fact that we are able to take whatever kind of idea we have going on, work with it, and develop it into whatever it becomes. We're not stuck doing just this one thing or just that one thing. And I think that freedom and creativity is more important than anything else. And especially if you want to maintain the integrity of what is becoming your sound and what is becoming your style, kind of in not having a particular one style. I think
you don't want to get stuck in one particular style, in fact.
Right, and it's very easy to get stuck like that. I mean, if you put out one thing and a lot of people really like it, and then maybe some people give some other thing you do a little bit of shit, or you sign on to a label and they see that one thing is doing well and they want to push that. You see, it's easy. There are all these ways that you can get into kind of throwing yourself down one line, and then you're just stuck like that, and you'll become that band. And that's when you see that people start doing solo careers, going in with different artists to write different styles and stuff like that. It's all hard rock, kind of heavy metal. It does have a lot of influences, but that's how we like to keep it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add with that is it's really just the way we write music is we have we have so many different influences, and we both collectively and individually we listen to a lot of music, and when we sit down to write, we're not necessarily like thinking, okay, we need to write this one specific thing. Like, we're just like, oh, I had this cool idea, it's like this thing, and then then the next song goes, oh, I have this idea, it's like this thing, and it's very organic, and it's just very whatever we feel like doing. But I think that's where a lot of the energy and the thing in the music, the magic in the music kind of comes from, is because it's whatever inspires us.
Okay, Leo, I have one special question for you.
Awesome.
First, your voice is amazing. It's a wonderful voice. What is your background? Have you some main influence for your voice?
So it's kind of interesting because, I've been singing for a very long time, pretty much as long as I can remember. When I was young, driving in the car with my parents and stuff, going between soccer games and shit, I would always be singing, and even from like kid songs and stuff like that and onwards. And then when I first started playing in like bands when I was around like 16, 17, and I got into a lot of the 80s bands during the Sunset Strip era, if you will. And I started imitating some of those guys and did some tributes and covers and stuff like that. I think in terms of influences that have stuck with me, it's kind of hard to say, because I feel like they all have an impact on you. When I was a kid, there was a lot of blues households, so a lot of the early blues singers, they influenced me. And then growing up to my own bands around the Sunset Strip era, you had Van Halen, you had Dokken, you had Motley Crue, you had those type bands, Grey White. And then I've had a huge phase with just listening to early 70s band, Grand Funk Railroad, and early Judas Priest, stuff like that. And I took a little bit from that. And then I think my all-time go-to guy has been Ronnie James Dio, because he's had such a long career with so many different styles of singing, and just a great storyteller. I think, yeah, that's pretty much it.
And your voice remind me Midnight from Crimson Glory, right?
Yeah, I've heard that one a lot. That I'm reminiscent of Midnight, and I've gone in and I've actually listened more to Crimson Glory after the fact that we put out our stuff, because I heard so many people saying that, oh, you sound like this guy, and I'm like, I've heard of this band before, but I've never really like gone in and like listened to them. So listen to them, and I mean, it's cool. It's hard for me to hear it, but cool band. I know how well respected they are, and yeah, rest in peace, Midnight.
Yes. Parker, I have the same question for you. What is your background, and what is your influence, your main influence about your guitar? What is your favorite players? And
I just have a question first, if I may.
Yes, okay.
Leo and Parker, you said previously that you were in a musical school. I'm not sure. You study music, right? And does this study influence I don't know how to say, your singing skills, if I may?
I think I realized more things about myself. I realized a lot of stuff that I perhaps should avoid. Like maybe I shouldn't be dogmatic about my singing in terms of standing in front of a mirror and singing scales. Maybe my way of learning isn't through reading a technique book. You know, I think I came across a lot of different ways of learning, and I learned more so what does not work for me. I'm not saying it doesn't work for everyone else, but it didn't really work out for me. That said, I met some cool people there, you know, Parker amongst them. I had a great private teacher who I got along with really well, who taught me a lot about anatomy and stuff. That's good to know. But the fundamental knowledge of singing, that's got to come from within, and that takes introspection. So I think mainly that came after my studies at MI. And
you, Parker, what did you study in this school?
I studied guitar, but I mean, I think Leo summed it up really well. They give you a lot of the basic knowledge, but it's not necessarily what they're teaching you directly. It's the introspection that you get from that process, and then also meeting people and seeing everybody else around there. So it was interesting learning experience for sure, but not in the way you would have thought of it.
So it doesn't influence your music actually?
Not particularly. I mean, you know, we pick up a few things, and I think also there's a lot of really great like teachers, and there's people that you can talk to there. So, I mean, it's like everything else in music, that it's your influence and your style, it gradually builds up. So you learn one thing from this one guy, you learn another little thing from this other guy. So, yeah.
It's one of the things too, they have like songwriting classes and stuff like that, and I think that's great if you're just getting into music. But me and Parker, like, we don't want to stick to a grid. We don't want to write music like the book says, or like this is how you should do it. You don't want to stick to just these rhythms. Like, it's good to know about them so that you can evolve beyond them. That's kind of the way we look at it.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Is it's like with theory and technique and all this stuff, is it's great. They teach you all about the tools, but they don't. Sometimes they forget like the most important thing, that, you know, they're tools and they're meant to be building something. And you see a lot of people in music school, they get very fixated on the tools. They get super caught up in the technique and just the pure music, and they're not really saying anything with it. So.
I'm a photographer, and in photography school, you will learn all the basic of technique, but after all, it's only your eyes who will see what you will shoot. The basic, okay, the technique, you can learn it, but not how to take a good photo. So I guess it's pretty much the same that you just explained.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're machines up to a certain point, right? I mean, we can take in information and do it by the book, but at the end of the day, singing music, it's a spiritual form of communication, and you can't pick that up from any text or from any, you know. Yeah.
It's a creative way. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Phil, you can go ahead.
Okay, I have a question about the first song of your album, Liars in Love. The few seconds of this song remind me a French band, Sortilège, and the song Gladiator. Are you fan of this kind of band?
Do you know this band?
Yes.
What was the name of it?
Sortilège.
I'm not sure if I might have heard them, but it doesn't ring a bell.
We'll have to check them out.
Especially if it sounds like Liar in Love, we definitely have to check them out.
Yeah.
Okay, and you have made one video for Leather and Lace. When have you made the video, and where?
So we shot that, what was it, like 6 days before it came out. We kept it all pretty simple. We just found a space. We got together with our videographer guy who shoots it and does all that. And we just got it done. Nothing crazy. It's just a pretty pretty simple music video, but yeah, I mean, we wanted,
right?
Yeah, we just wanted something that was just right to the point, and you know, to put a visual, put a face to the band too. But also a little foreshadowing here is that in that same recording session at that same location, we actually recorded a second music video that will be coming out very soon here. So just a little heads up.
There are a couple that goes on during the time that we're over. So we'll see how many of those we're able to lock down. But the whole reason why we're going over in April was because even before we really began setting up, reaching out to people in festivals and stuff like that, we got the request to play at the Keep It True, and it's such a great festival. We did not want to turn it down, so we straight up just told them yes, we will be there. And obviously, being an independent band, just solely funded on mine and Parker's, whatever financial stuff we got going on, we can't really stay there for longer than that.
Okay.
I wish we could. It would be absolutely
yeah. I would stay there through August if it was possible, but we can only do what we can do. So.
As everybody, I guess.
Okay, just one question about your album, your CD. Your CD and your EP were self-produced by yourself. Do you think to ask a label, a record company for the next one, or you want to stay in this kind of by produce you all by yourself?
Well, I think at the end of the day unless we can get an offer that works with our terms, we're not interested in working with the label. The thing is that there's certainly benefits to having all that, and you can do a lot of things with the label that are very difficult to do independently as an artist. But at the end of the day, if we can put down enough money to make the music and create a really great record, and we can upload it, we can get it all around the world, and then now we've been working really hard to make our physicals, just our CDs and then subsequently vinyls coming soon, but get those better distributed throughout the world. So that's really what's important to us. And when you work with the label, it's like, okay, now they're taking the lion's share of the income that comes from your music most of the time. And then now you have somebody else who we can't just write what we want and put it out. It has to prove with them. And I can tell you that there's songs on both of our EP and album that if we were working with a label, there's a very good chance they would have not let be on that album because, it doesn't fit the style or whatever. So we really, if we're going to work with a label, it's going to be on terms that meet our demands. But if not, we'll continue to do this independently.
The most important thing to us is that the music comes out the way that we want it to come out. And now, especially as we're growing a fan base, it becomes so much more important for us to put it out the same way that the fans are expecting it to be. And if it's just, me and Parker and the guy who mixes and masters our album pretty much, then if it's just between our tight little circle, it's that much easier to make sure that everything comes out the exact way that we wanted, even if it requires more money on our end and requires more time. It might take a little longer. That's fine. At the end of the day, we're going to put out a release that we know that we will enjoy. And if we enjoy it, we know that our fan base will enjoy it. That's basically it.
It's all about the music. if the quality of the music starts to degrade, everything else around it is gonna suffer, because it's all the business, everything, it's all built from the music. So the music needs to be as good as it possibly can.
That was a long answer.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time, and we will leave you with the last word.
To sum up all the things that you just say about label, in fact, you just want to stay free of your choice and out of a box of a style, actually. You don't want that. You just want to make your own way in music, if I may, again. Yeah. Is it correct?
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is that it's not, we're not sitting here and we don't want to say like, don't give us any offers. Like it's still possible for us to work with a label. It just has to be on good terms that allows us to do what we do. I think that's really, in summary, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to contract and just sign up. You want to do the contract if you one day sign with a label, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't have any other question.
Okay.
I was just here to back up, for the backup. So.
Yes. Okay. It's your last word.
You.
Yeah. Well, as I always say, man, everything that we do, it would not be possible, but without our fans, it wouldn't be possible without you guys having this interview here today. And we are very, very grateful for all the support that we receive and for people spreading the word. Like I said, being independent, we rely solely on everyone around us to keep on spreading the word and keep on spreading the music. And we will do the best we can to put out the best stuff possible and to come and play shows near you. You fucking kick ass, and we love you.
Thank you.
Same thing, you know. Thank you guys, all of our friends, fans. You guys are our family. We love you guys, man. Thank you so much for all your continued support. Continue to listen to Wings of Steel. Crank it up. Tell your friends. Tell everybody you know, because that's what gets the word out. That's what helps us spread. That's what helps us sell CDs and make money, so we can continue to deliver more records and more live shows and everything. But yep.
That's what gets to Europe in July to August next year.
Yeah.
I hope for you, at least. But yeah, we'll do. And thank you for your time. Thank you for answering our question. Hopefully you won't die of hot in Los Angeles, and you will have a not too cold winter. I don't know. But I try to survive my summer right now, so I will let you for tonight. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Sorry for my English. I'm just a bit tired today, so that's it.
No need to apologize. Thank you for having us. It's been our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much, and hope to see you in France next year.
Yes, hopefully.
We hope so too. We will try and be there somewhere around April, May, June.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I am the